Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to take a look at the newest pack for The Sims 4, the Werewolves pack. In the future, I do plan to do a more in-depth review, along with every, and yes, I mean every, Sims 4 pack. But since this is the newest one, I wanted to share some thoughts on the new pack. So let's go ahead and dive right into The Sims 4 Werewolves. I just want to say on the record real quick that I am not a fan of this mythical creature. I have always preferred vampires over werewolves, but I do like the idea of having the option to play as one. So my thoughts might be a tad biased. I am going to try to stick mostly to the facts of the gameplay and not my preferences, but of course since this is kind of a review, it's going to slip out. Let's go ahead and start with some creative sim options on the game. The pack gives a ton of what I can only describe as grungy clothes, which I am not complaining about one bit. I love grungy 80s clothes, and I think that this pack did the look so good. Guys and girls get the same clothes basically, but again, I'm not really complaining. The tops are really baggy on the girls, which is a really nice change from the constant skin tight option that doesn't go great with other sized Sims. My sim came out really cute, and I love the clothing that came with the pack, and I even added extra outfits for a few categories because I just couldn't decide which ones I liked better. The pack also holds hand in hand with the cottage living clothes as far as the foresty look. So if I couldn't find a werewolf pack option that worked, I was able to find a cottage living option that would, and that made me really happy as well. So creative sim items for the human form I enjoyed so much. Now, let's talk about the werewolf form. I have very mixed thoughts about it. Style-wise, I really enjoy it, despite a lot of people not enjoying the design that the developers made. The furry look makes me actually enjoy the idea of werewolves more, since I'm not a werewolf fan in general. What I didn't like was the lack of variety in the body type. Like, you can have bigger, skinnier, and all that. That's all good, but every single body type looks very masculine. Broad shoulders, defined muscles, strong jawlines. I had a really hard time making my werewolf look more feminine. I do wish developers worked on a little more variety on the body types in that category, because I was actually flirting with a werewolf in the game. They had a very low voice, they had a unisex name, they had very generic clothing, they looked very masculine, they never transformed into a human in front of me, and the only way I knew that they were a female was because I got the option to ask them to be my girlfriend. I guess I was just hoping for some more variety on body types. No, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make a female werewolf look masculine or vice versa, but I had a very tiny little fragile female sim, and I felt like she just needed a smaller, softer body, and unfortunately I couldn't have that. What I ended up doing was actually unlinking the werewolf outfits to my human outfits, because a lot of my human outfits did not work. So I did add more feminine looking clothing to my werewolf to kind of make up for the fact that they looked so masculine, and it helped, but it didn't solve the problem. Other than that note, the rest of the creative sim items are very customizable to make any werewolf you want. I don't have any complaints on the rest of it. The ear options, nose, fur tufts, fur colors, designs, all of that was great. So you can customize the looks of the werewolf pretty well if you can't customize the body. And I personally don't think it really makes up for that fact, but the variety and the details were very nice to see compared to some other options you get from other packs from The Sims. I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. The build buy items, I was a little underwhelmed. The ones that the pack came with are great, there just wasn't a whole lot that I personally will end up using in the future. However, the more worn down items will definitely come in handy for any abandoned buildings, mansions, haunted houses, all that stuff. I do love the bonfire with all the items in it. I also am happy that we get another crib to choose from. If you have all of the packs, in total, there have only been 3 cribs to choose from, so I'm really happy that we get another one added. So there are some items I am excited about, but majority of it I personally am not going to be using on a regular basis, so I wasn't really that excited. Some people will use it more than me, and that's great. I'm just not going to use it a whole lot, so I really wasn't a big fan. Now let's go ahead and talk about the gameplay for this pack. I love that unlike vampires and spellcasters where you need to read tomes and spell books to gain experience points and level up, you kind of just have to do werewolf things. I gave my werewolf the ability to mark territories and groom themselves, since bladder and hygiene kept getting in the way of exploring the city and doing whatever I was trying to do. The more that they use these traits, the more experience they get, and the more traits they unlock. And the red meter at the top of the needs menu is their fury level. If you use too many werewolf traits, get angry, or are under a full moon, the fury meter rises. And when it becomes full, you transform uncontrollably and rage. Which is pretty cool. I actually really like having an occult that makes you have a limited control of their actions at some points. I also love that werewolves have the ability to scratch up furniture. That's a fun add-on. Not to mention great for storytelling purposes. The one werewolf that sees themselves as a monster and tries to hide their form, and then they have to tear up all their curtains, they have messed up paintings, scratched up furniture, while they try to control the beast within. I love it. Okay, the other thing I like is the wolf packs. You can't just ask to join because you're a werewolf. You have to have a high friendship level with the pack leader before you're allowed to join. I decided that after becoming good friends with the pack leader and still getting rejected, that I'm just going to stay on my own. It was way too much effort for me to put in. There are also secret tunnels that you can explore from some porta potties and later on a sewage grate after you discover it the first time. I couldn't really find anything interesting in them. I mean, I got a frog, but that's about it. The other thing I was really excited to try out was the fated mate thing that they were talking about in the pack description. It's not as exciting as I was hoping for. When I hear fated mate, my impression is that there's going to be a destined mate predetermined for your sim. But the very first werewolf I was flirty to, I immediately got a notification about them being my fated mate. And I was a tiny bit disappointed. What I wasn't disappointed about was how fast my sim fell in love. Like, sims fall in love fast anyway, but the quote flirty action that I used was asking if they were single, and I immediately got that fated mate notification. Then I kissed their hand, flirted once, and I immediately got the first kiss option. And not only that, their love meter skyrocketed after their first kiss. I mean, they couldn't have fallen in love any faster. That trait would have definitely come in handy during a 100 baby challenge. So overall, the werewolf pack is a very interesting pack. I definitely haven't tried all that it can do yet, but I can say from what I've seen so far, it's pretty great. And unlike the My Wedding Stories game pack, I didn't have any glitches or any weird stuff on the release day, so that was really nice too. Again, in the future, I am hoping to do an in-depth review of the pack, along with any other pack in The Sims 4. I do have a base game review all ready to go for next week, so stay tuned for that as well. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!